Welcome back. Now we have Rena Hicks, who is a professional coach and investment banker, standing by to take us through our conversation. But first, let's take a look at some statistics. Kenyans will have to dig a little deeper into their pockets this time to buy cooking gas. The key commodity increased by more than 30% in the last week. A spot check by Citizen TV revealed that a 6 kg cylinder of LPG, which retailed at 1,800 Kenya shillings, has shot up to 2,600 shillings. That's not the only thing that shot up in recent weeks. Food prices have been on a steady rise, and that is not helped by the fact that Kenyans already spend almost half of their household income on food. So just what has gone up? We compared the prices of key food items between 2021 and now. Let's take a look at those numbers. Sugar went up by 35%, margarine by 43%. Bread costs 18% more now than it did 2 years ago. Vegetable oil saw the highest spike, up by 144%. Milk went up by 8%, and flour is now 49% more expensive. So what you would get for roughly 1,000 shillings back in 2021 is now 1,842 shillings. Now, several factors have been blamed on the rise in food prices, from increased taxes on everyday household goods such as cooking gas, fuel, and of course food. A weakening shilling that has seen a spike in the prices of imported goods, and the ongoing drought in the region have also been blamed. So let's unpack all this. Joining me now is Rena Hicks, investment banker and professional coach, and author of the book Money Wise: Create, Grow, and Preserve Wealth. That last part, preserve wealth, we'll be digging into, Rena. But, you know, when you look at just how much is spent on food alone by Kenyans, you know, and food prices won't be going down anytime soon. What do you start to recommend when people need to budget and put their household incomes in place?
Yeah, thank you so much, Victoria. It's good to be here this evening, despite the challenging season that we're in. And it's so true. I mean, so first of all, half of your income going to just food alone is a bit scary. I mean, and a lot of families need to sort of figure out, how can I earn an additional income? So in terms of budgeting and in terms of thinking about how do I spend this money, I think the first thing we have to try and do is save a little. I know it's a lot to ask, but how can you put a little aside, even if it is 100 bob from what you earn, to be able to save for tomorrow or a day that you will not be able to earn an income? So first save, and then you can spend. And then you can just try and find ways to be able to limit your spending and look at, what am I spending my money on? How can I track my expenses so I know where's my money going? And then I can sort of decide, this one I can spend a little less on, and this other one I can take out totally, and in that way, then you'll be able to find ways to survive, even as you try find ways of adding an additional income to yourself.
It's been said that in Kenya, we don't have a middle class, we have a floating class. And, that essentially meaning that many people are living paycheck to paycheck or are just a hospital bill away from poverty. That's really serious when you're talking about the cost of living where it is right now. How do people begin to spend more responsibly, have healthier spending habits? Because, there was a study from the KNBS that said since 2013, Kenyans have been living beyond their means. So how do they begin to develop healthy spending habits?
Okay. So first of all is to recognize the fact that the earning that you have right now and the money that you have right now, you may not have in another year or 2 or 3. I think there's generally the attitude that, let me enjoy now. Let me, you only live once. And that sort of attitude is what then ends up getting people to the place where they are actually unable to retire because they don't have savings. So the attitude is one. And so we really need to get to the place where we conserve and get to a place where we have a habit of putting aside for a rainy day. And some of the habits that then we can develop are things like, okay, how can I work with those around me to be able to stretch my shilling further? Like bulk shopping. And I can talk to my friends, I can talk to my family. Let's put our money together. Let's go wholesale shopping for cereals. Let's buy our other household items that we all need together. Do it together. Little things like switching off lights that you're not using, carpooling, or even walking to work if you don't live too far from work are some of the other examples that people can try to do. If you are a consultant, instead of renting an office, work from home and save that money. I think this attitude of let me show them how I am doing by the car I drive, the way I live, and so on, is something that just sort of needs to end. We have a habit of living beyond our means to please people that really feel nothing for us. And so how can we make decisions that are best suited for us based on our personal circumstances and not what society thinks or expects of us?
So what should the ideal household budget look like, Rina? Because, I mean, Kenyans, we are notorious. Someone will take a loan to get an expensive car. So beyond the maintenance and fueling and insurance, you're having to pay a loan for a depreciating asset. But, you know, how much should someone put towards rent, towards a car payment, towards school fees, towards food? You know, what should that big breakdown look like?
So that's not an easy question to answer because every single household looks different. So, for example, a household with 7 members and a single income will be very different from a single person living on their own, and they may have the same salary. So it's each of us to sort of look at what are my circumstances right now? What are the needs I have? Base your budget on your needs and then cut out non-essentials. So look at what do I need to survive and try and make sure that you create a budget based on your situation. So the first thing you can do is track your expenses so that you get a sense of where is my money really going. And then you can look at, okay, I'm not saving anything right now. Where can I start to save? And if I am to get to a place where I don't have an income 10 years from now, 5 years from now, what's going to happen? And how can I reduce what I'm spending to then do that? So I could decide it's the car I'm going to get rid of, or I could decide I'll change my children's schools, or I live in another city, maybe perhaps in the village as opposed to in an urban center. So those decisions will be made based on your knowledge of your situation, and then you can make a decision based on that. So I struggle with rules of thumb, to be honest, because of just the different circumstances, different preferences, different incomes. So that's what I would suggest.
Just before I let you go, Rina, you know, the other kind of struggle Kenyans go through is I need to make extra money. Where do I begin? Yes, we are the center of side hustles, but what would you recommend in terms of how people can practically make more money?
I think one of the things that people can do is grow your skills. So you might be a teller today, you might be a customer service person, a chef, whatever it is that you do. How can you increase your skills and competencies so that you improve your performance? So let's say you're a salesperson and you want to be able to earn more. Then improve your skills on being able to make more leads, sell more, and higher commission, or get a certification, get a promotion. Network is another one. You know, get to know people, work, you know, find out who's in the industry I'm in, get introduced to people, go out and meet others, because that's when you hear about opportunities. And the more you meet people, the more that you interact with them, they like you, and they speak about you in spaces that perhaps you cannot even be in yourself. Another thing that people can do is just invest, right? So a lot of the thing that I suggest that people do is grow their income streams, particularly passive income streams. And a few examples are like, you know, you can invest in real estate, and real estate doesn't have to be very expensive. It can be, you can rent a space, develop it, and then rent it out, you know, as a commercial space or as a residential unit. You can invest in stocks and earn dividends from those stocks or shares. You can invest in treasury bonds and earn an interest. You can invest in collective investment schemes. The list is endless, including even royalties from intellectual property that you create. You can go into agriculture. I loved the story of the farm where they've been able to create a dam of some kind, and they've been able to create employment as well as pay school fees for their children because they're earning more. So how else can we earn more? Is it online businesses that you can start to do by blogging or selling stuff online on Facebook and those kinds of things, and you'll be able to earn an additional income? Another one I must mention before I go, wait for the next question is, there's huge opportunities overseas. There's jobs that are available. I was Googling the other day and I saw opportunities for nurses in a certain first world country, and they even pay for your ticket to fly overseas. And the beauty about getting jobs away from home as well is the fact that the country benefits from foreign currency that you send home as a diasporan. So that's another option. It doesn't have to be in Kenya. It can be in another city or another country as well.
Fantastic. That's all the time we have, Rina. Thank you so much. And hopefully those tips get Kenyans on a better footing financially, especially during this time. Let's take another short break here on Citizen Weekend. Sports News is up next.